Okay, welcome to Lights Camera Barstool. Today, the vaunted Mission Impossible review, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. We have Jeff on to talk because we're I feel like among the biggest Mission Impossible fans there are. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah, we've been to all the premieres, we dressed up, we do all the shit. We're part of the circle, the inner circle, I'd say. And I
I
mean,
printed out my key yesterday.
your
I 3D printed
cruciform.
the 3D printed the entity key. Wore it on my neck. Yeah,
Yeah.
had to.
And now, welcome onto the circle, Gooch, who went and interviewed Tom Cruise, among many other people from the movie, at the Mission Impossible New York City premiere, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, unreal experience. I feel like I'm part of the IMF team now. Like I'm
Yeah.
to accept the mission.
Dude, if he looked at me the way he looked at you and just everybody, man, dude, just charisma
Yeah,
coming out
no,
the.
it is the story. Every story you've ever heard about him is like absolutely true. Like he is just simply the most charismatic man I've ever come in contact with. Like it's like he's glowing when he's like around you.
Mhm.
Well, he makes you feel like he's your best friend in the brief moment that I was with him. Also, it just feels like he's 10,000 miles away.
Mm.
Like just so intense, but also being like completely distant, almost non-human. Yeah, no, just one of the most fascinating people we have on the face of the earth. A true movie star to a T. One fun little story before we get into it. He did come to the AMC premiere after that red carpet event and did a little speech. You've probably seen clips and like the behind the scenes where he was with the theater workers. Me and Owen decided to, from the red carpet to the theater, partake in some movie enhancers on the way over.
Mm.
And we're in like row C, so kind of towards the front and like right next to where he's speaking. And there's two seats open next to us. They're like the only two seats open in the theater. And the Q and Tom are like standing in front of us, and me and Owen are just blitzed out of our minds. And me and Owen just start looking at each other like, are they about to sit right here? So we had to sit with it for like 10 minutes thinking Tom Cruise is about to sit next to us. Bake while we're just baked out of our minds. The thought of having to sit next to Tom Cruise watching his movie premiere while high as shit, I think I would have melted. Like
Hmm.
just had an aneurysm right there on the spot. No, very fun night. Very, very fun.
Yeah, it would have made fun of you like that popcorn guy.
Thank you to everyone. Jordan Berry, thank you for helping me set that up. That was awesome.
Yeah, shout out JB. But before we get to that, I'm also going to be doing a mini Mission Impossible draft. There's some just quick news to run through. First up being that Kieran Culkin's going to be playing Caesar Flickerman in the Hunger Games, Sunrise at the Reaping. Also, Ralph Fiennes got cast as President Snow. Two good castings. I think one funny reaction I saw to the Kieran Culkin one was like, oh, so they're actually going to make Kieran Culkin like act in this. Like, tell you what, I don't think so. I think that he's going to play the same exact character he usually plays. He's
Right.
not going to be playing a separate version. He's not going to be playing like the Stanley Tucci version of the character. He's just going to be playing himself, like the guy you're used to. That's why they cast him. So that I think is good. Also, Ralph Fiennes as Snow. That's like a perfect casting.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah, I Culkin as Flickerman is good. I mean, is this even do people? I mean, Ray Fiennes as President Snow. That's great as well. There's a couple other ones they've announced that I think are all pretty solid. Um, is the book even good? Do people like came out like a month ago, right? Came out like 2 months ago.
Great question. Let's see how the rating is. Actually, is there like a Metacritic for books? And that's probably book fans are probably going to sound like or think I'm the
Like
biggest
Goodreads, and they call
moron.
it Goodreads. Yeah, Goodreads is okay. 4.6 out of 5. Okay.
All right, not too shabby.
Yeah, I mean the last one was okay. It had a lot of good and a lot of like this isn't all that great, but also like the last one, as much as like the last one kind of I didn't go through the ringer. I mean, I know people didn't love Rachel Zegler at that point, so that didn't help. But like there was some good stuff in that. But like Mockingjay was both of them were kind of like not that great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like all the castings. I saw what's Elle Fanning is going to play Effie.
Oh
That's
yeah, Elle
that
Fanning now.
works.
Synesthetic, that horny fuck is really he's blown up Elle Fanning spot a little bit. I
they
don't know if
were
you saw that.
they were valid for that. Listen, I understand Hideo Kojima on a soulful level. No, this casting department, I think they're cooking pretty hard for. I mean, a franchise which I don't know for millennials. It feels like it's a little late for us. I don't know. Does that make sense? Like it, I feel like it was on the back end of the Harry Potter stuff, and
It was, I think if
a
I'm thinking
very
of like young
clear
adult
year one.
franchises that we grew up with, like obviously Harry Potter is like leagues
But
and
I'd
leagues.
even put it below like in terms of cultural phenomenon. Like I'd put it below like Twilight for our age group. Like
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So I think they've done a great job of like reinvigorating this and getting people actually excited through these castings. And I like the way they're like name dropping them. Like they are direct from the source announcing these castings and
Right.
them like one a day, one every other day. That way it just stays in the news and you keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Really like the way they're doing it.
Yeah, and it's cool little like the effect burn onto the book. I thought was pretty cool too.
A bunch of the other people who, like I know you see in Catching Fire, like Matt, the character Mags, played by Lily Taylor. I know Wirus is being played by Maya Hawke. There's a bunch of other like, I think Beatty's Kelvin Harrison Jr., who's usually played by Jeffrey Wright. And then who's playing? Is there one more? There's one more big one, right? Oh yeah, Jesse Plemons is playing a young PSH.
That's right, which is a great casting. He's played a young Philip Seymour Hoffman before, so it all works out. Next up, we had the first trailer for Caught Stealing, a burned out ex-baseball player, Hank Thompson. Great baseball name, by the way. Excellent work.
What's his name?
Hank Thompson.
Yeah.
Excellent baseball name right there. Unexpectedly finds himself embroiled in a dangerous struggle for survival amidst the criminal underbelly of 90s New York City, forced to navigate a treacherous underworld he never imagined. Directed by Darren Aronofsky, starring Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Austin Butler, by the way, his look in this, you look at him and you're like, this is every college baseball player I've ever known. Like that, he lines up with that pretty much perfectly. And Zoe Kravitz, obviously great fit in Aronofsky's, I think, sort of aesthetic world or whatever, the way he makes movies. D'Onofrio also great. The trailer was cool. It looked like a sort of I don't know how to explain it, like a little caper, I guess. Like I enjoyed everything I saw in it. I like Matt Smith, he looked really cool in the sort of like punk rock look, which when they first had the images of this movie, just like the stills from the street, like check out Matt Smith and his giant mohawk, I was like, oh, what the fuck are we doing here? But then you hear him talk, you hear him do all this thing, and I'm like, okay, I'm back in. So interesting trailer. And Aronofsky, he's kind of been hit or miss, at least for me, throughout his career, but I think this looks more hit than miss.
Definitely a change in style. Like a dark comedy, like thriller, like crime thriller. After, I mean, think about his run. What he did, The Whale, Mother, Noah, Black Swan, The Wrestler. I mean, Black Swan, obviously critically acclaimed. The rest are probably the best out of that bunch. Noah, I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, that was fucking terrible. Mother, famous movie from this podcast's lore.
It's true.
And then The Whale, which probably not that great, even though it won our good guy Brandon Fraser the Oscar. It's like kind of a weird run now to go to like a dark comedy. Like I like that, giving something different, changing it up.
There's a surprising Guy Ritchie feel.
I can see that.
That I did not expect at all. A lot of these movies have been premiering at Cannes this week, and a lot of this stuff has been getting mild reactions, which isn't the norm for Cannes. But this is one of on the more positive side, which take it with a grain of salt. They did love Amelia Perez last year, but
yeah,
I'm excited for this. The trailer looked great. The only complaint I do have, Austin Butler should have used all that energy he used for getting that Elvis accent down and fixed his swing, because boy, oh boy.
I didn't even notice the swing. I didn't see it. Damn.
He swings the bat a couple times in the trailer, and I'm like, oh, that's a theater kid.
Like, who's that kid from the Duff?
Oh yeah, that football throw. Yeah,
Stephen Amell's brother, but I forget his name. Robbie Amell. Yeah, and he's like he's done now, I think, multiple videos where he's like, there was a camera in front of me, I couldn't do it. He's like trying to disprove it, like with sports science, and he can throw it. Like, it's kind of funny. The Rock is going to play a manipulative motivational guru in a new psychological thriller from Zeke Goodman, newcomer. Set in turn of the millennium, Southern California, the story follows an alienated young man who comes under the influence of a motivational guru whose intoxicating charm masks his morally questionable methods of manipulation and his own concealed darkness. I think this is a great fit for The Rock. Like, this is, between this and is now going to be previously released A24 movie, The Smashing Machine. I watched the Smashing Machine trailer, and that was the first time I've ever watched something The Rock was in, and I wasn't immediately like, it's The Rock. It was like the first, like, he's acting as someone else. And that, to me, is impressive. And I think that's the one thing that maybe The Rock at this point hasn't achieved, is like sort of respect as an actor versus an entertainer. Because like that's what you see. Cena's getting that respect. Dave Bautista's getting that respect. The Rock is more successful than both of them combined times 100. But like I think wants that respect, and I think he can get it out of the Smashing Machine. And maybe this too, because this is kind of like he can play himself in a way. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause this is the kind of the character he's built himself up to be in real life. So I think that kind of fits for him. So kind of interested in this. Maybe a little ballersy, but for it
That's
just like
exactly when I went to make the graphic, I was like, this sounds like Ballers. So I found a picture of him in Ballers.
a little ballersy. But other than that, very interested to see how this turns out.
There's two big takeaways for me from this trailer and this movie in general. One, they very much made him look as little like The Rock as they went extra far.
In Smash
More
Machine,
than they
yeah.
probably needed to do. So that was pretty notable. Like he looks somehow exactly like himself, but also nothing like himself at the same exact time. But you can tell that was a concerted effort to make sure he looked very much unlike himself. The other thing is, well, we'll know in the first 5 minutes of this movie if he's worth anything because he's acting against Emily Blunt.
Yes,
Like, I mean,
true.
that's just like if he can't do this, if he can't pull off this like more dramatic thing, it'll be pretty obvious very quickly that he doesn't have the chops to keep up.
The counterpoint to that is we could say the same thing about Jungle Cruise. He was acting against Emily Blunt.
True, I guess, but just in like the dramatic
Yeah.
role, right?
Yeah.
In this sense.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fascinated by The Rock doing this late in his career. But I'm also excited for him because I think he just, and this is probably just as calculated as, I mean, it definitely is as calculated as everything else he's done for the past 2 decades. But there's just something so sinister that he, for the past 5 years, like him talking about verticals and the way he talked about his movies and the movie industry, that was just such a turnoff to, I think, even just the most, average moviegoer. But getting back to this and like actually trying to be an actor, or at least trying to appear to be an actor, makes me want to root for him, even if it is like just a big ploy to help his image. Like I'm rooting for this. I'd root for this a million times over Red 2.
Yeah, Red 2.
He looks like, do you remember when Zac Efron almost died
Yeah,
and got jaw surgery? And everyone made fun of him. And he's like, yeah, by the way, like I almost fucking died. People are like, oh, okay.
Whoopsie, yeah.
And like, it's like he had like his like jaw. That's exactly what The Rock looks like in this.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like exactly like that.
Even with hair forever.
Yeah. The hair
Right.
is cool.
The other thing too is I watched a behind the scene just kind of talking about like Black Adam the other day. He had a run about a year and a half where he was you could probably argue still to an extent like kind of like the laughing stock of Hollywood, which is crazy for someone that stature and that like fame to be considered kind of a joke. Like he was the butt of the joke for almost anything that was like tentpole-y. So I'm rooting for him because like I mean The Rock's not a bad dude. Like it's fun to make fun of him, but like I hope this is like kind of the next step in his evolution here.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And I think he is just like he's obviously the most successful as of right now, monetarily or financially wise, like the actor in Hollywood. But like he's an entertainer. And I feel like that's the big thing. The big difference is he wants to be more of an actor and less of an entertainer. At least he wants to show off that he can do it. And I think he can do it. There's parts of Ballers, weirdly enough, where he's like dramatically acting and he's really good at it. And like at least in that world where he fits really well. But I don't know. I think it could be good. And same thing again. This other movie with the Guru thing, I think is a great fit. Next, Alex Garland is going to be directing an Elden Ring movie for A24. Elden Ring and all these From Software games, I buy them every time and I quit them every time because I can't beat them because I'm not good enough at video games and it feels too much like work and less like fun. So I stopped playing them. So I don't know enough about the lore of Elden Ring, but I do know that when I first saw it, my first thought was this feels like something David Lowery could have done really well because he was so good at it in The Green Knight, doing this like fantastical sort of like setting, like really deep, like weird gothic sort of look to medieval fantasy. But at the same time, like it's fucking Garland. Maybe he's great at it. I don't think he's ever done, as far as I know, of anything in this, like, it's fantasy, but like time period. So I'm kind of interested to see what he does with this. And plus, it's a very, very popular video game, and not in the same way of like a Fortnite or Call of Duty or whatever. It's like very popular in its own right and has its own story, its own lore that's apparently very rich and deep. Again, I don't really know it because I didn't beat him, but I'm interested.
I This is a very interesting turn for him compared to what he's done the last couple years. I mean, from Ex Machina, his first director job, then he did Annihilation, which is obviously like an incredibly deep, like thought-provoking movie that probably didn't. We've always talked about it, probably did not get as much credit as it deserved. Uh, he did another movie in between. I forget what it was called. In between Annihilation and Civil War.
We include Dread on this podcast.
Was it
Which
Men?
one?
Dread. We
Dread.
Dread.
He's yeah, I know he was involved with Dread, right? Like he's a writer.
Stories that he directed it. Like
Oh, right. He's like he's not he doesn't get a credit for it, but like he essentially came in, right?
mm-hmm.
What was the one in between? It's called Men. It might have been Men, but then he did Civil War, and then Civil War, which I liked but didn't like love, and then Warfare, which I have been very high in. Warfare for me. Granted, it's a smooth 10 points below Sinners. It is the second best movie of the year for me. So
Very good.
Warfare is unbelievable. One of the best opening scenes in any movie. One of the most like fuck you opening scenes in a movie in a long time. Of like, hey, here's this fun thing, and it's like, yeah, you're not getting any of that shit the rest of the movie. It's like it's an awesome decision. Yeah. So yeah, this is cool. I mean, this is a change for him. I trust him on this.
Yeah, no, the turn that the internet has made against Garland the past 2 years because he didn't make a political enough movie has been very depressing to watch in real time. He's a very, very talented director. Maybe doesn't have like the most to say at all points, but I just don't think that's his style. And I think the people who are upset that that's not his style are like, quit trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. That's all I'm saying. Like, he makes a very interesting type of movie that may not be for you, but I think it's undeniable to say that it's like without its merits. Like the way everything looks, if you can't at least appreciate the way his movies look, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. The what do you call it? It was very funny watching Twitter decide that the movie was propaganda for Iraq before it came out, and then it comes out and like, oh, whoops, that's a nice little heel turn. And then lastly, this was we saw this yesterday. Ballerina, what the fuck is going on with this movie, dude?
This is crazy.
They put out, so typically when you go to a screener or whatever, they'll send you, the studio will give you like, or their PR handling it, they'll give you an email saying like, hey, this is the embargo dates, like you can tweet about it or social sentiment this date, you can give a formal review this date, and that's typically just how it goes. But what they sent to the people that saw Ballerina was like, hey, if you have something positive sentiment to say on social about our movie, feel free. If you have something critical you want to say, you have to wait till the embargo date. And that is crazy. That is crazy for a ton of reasons. And I think the big two things are like, number one, you can't like policing thought on critics is never going to go your way in any situation. Like never, ever, ever, ever. Number two, I think this is kind of like the last nail in the coffin for Ballerina. Like all the bad news that has come out about it so far. Like number one, them picking Len Wiseman or whatever to direct this instead of Stahelski was crazy. He'd only done like the Underworld movies. And then the fact that they had to do 3 months of reshoots, like reshoot the entire movie with Stahelski back on set and Len Wiseman not on set is crazy. That to bring in Keanu Reeves to try and like salvage something and get people more interested in it. This and now policing any level of thought for the reviews for it. It's crazy. It feels like this movie is going to be complete and total ass. And at least based on all the sort of signifiers so far. So it kind of sucks because I was hoping this would be great because I know we all, when they initially cast her, were like, well, No Time to Die, Ana de Armas was really good. So this could be potentially an awesome continuation of John Wick. But the signs are not looking great so far.
No, I've never seen that before. That's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, chill out if you don't like it. Just like wait a week. Like hang on, let's get the good reviews in. I mean, yeah, I mean everything about this movie since its production has pointed to it being ass. I mean, for them needing Keanu Reeves to come in probably in more of a role than he was intended. I don't know. Maybe it will. I don't know. Maybe it will be good. Maybe there's something here. Like, wasn't this like a script? Wasn't it a script like based on a John Wick trailer?
Based on the John Wick 2 trailer. Like a guy saw the trailer and he wrote like a fan script kind of based on that.
Like what in the 50 Shades of Grey is that shit?
Yeah,
that's like
seriously.
the wildest, like that's crazy. So like I don't know. I the one like thing I give it a chance is if this was this was like a Star Wars movie or like a Marvel movie, or even in the opposite direction, this was something that was maybe viewed as like a big Oscar contender, I would feel like, uh-oh. But there's something about this like franchise that when you think it's gonna die, it doesn't die. That makes me kind of think like 1% of me thinks it might be like a surprise, like, oh, there's an overreaction here. But the hunch is that this is gonna be ass, obviously.
I will say the 1% that has me going is the fact that Stahelski essentially reshot this entire
Right.
movie. That is the one thing where I'm like, oh, they had to reshoot the entire movie. That's bad. But the fact that like now you have almost no Len Wiseman and almost all Chet Stahelski, that's good. So maybe, I don't know. But Gooch?
Yeah, no. I was in the boat of like I was holding out about I'd say 50% hope before yesterday that Stahelski had just salvaged the disaster. I mean, 3 months of reshoot. That's just like you said. It's a full movie. You're reshooting the entire movie. So I was holding out hope that this would just be another Stahelski John Wick entry, which he has not missed yet, not even come close to missing. But saying you can't put out negative reviews is such a red flag. It's such a red flag. I don't know. Ana de Armas is at such a weird point in her career where she was just the hottest name in Hollywood for just a second, and it immediately slipped through her fingers. I still think she can get it back, though. She's right there. She has this. I mean, she does have that Tom Cruise. At least it's rumored that she's going to be in a Tom Cruise movie with McHugh directing. That's interesting. I never would have thought she would turn to action this hard, but she seems interested in it.
It's made a lot of bad picks, like Dark Waters.
A bad run since No Time to
Ghosted.
Die.
That Wagner Moura movie, like a lot of bad, just bad. I don't know if it was bad choices, but just bad luck too.
That terrible
Marilyn Monroe.
Blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, the whatchamacallit movie.
Andrew Dominic. Right?
Yeah, terrible movie.
Awful. But yeah, bad, tough run for her. But I do think, again, based on that, again, I guess to be fair, relatively short snippet from No Time to Die, like she was really cool in action. So maybe there's something there. But I also like to see her do more dramatic stuff. Maybe that's the answer. But anyway, that's a ballerina. Also, by the way, maybe this is a curse or a blessing. Keanu Reeves was going to play Soul in The Acolyte and had to drop out because he had to do all these reshoots. So instead, it was the guy from Squid Games that took that role. Maybe it would have been better. Maybe it would have been worse. I don't know. I think it probably would have been made a better show if it was Neo and Trinity in the same Star Wars series. That could have been fucking cool. But the series was, I think, kind of just doomed from the start.
What a weird show that was. It would have some episodes that were awesome. It had some of the best lightsaber fights that we've ever seen in Star Wars, and then it would just flip on its head. One of the worst episodes of anything you've ever seen in Star. Like it was crazy. It was like every moment you'd be like, okay, we got something here. Then it would do the worst thing you could ever imagine. You'd be like, all right, well, never mind.
I remember, I think it was like episode 5 or something. They have that one episode where it's Manny Jacinto, whose character is sick, really cool. Like, dude, in that episode, there's all those fights, like you were saying, like some of the coolest shit ever. But then everything around it, this whole storyline going back and forth, redoing shit over and over and over again. Like, it was so repetitive and boring.
Yeah, it was a whiff.
Yeah. I hope that, I forget what Manny Jacinto's character's name was in it, but his Sith was cool as shit. I kind of hope we get more of him at some point. Anyway, that's news. Now we can talk about Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, movie that we've been looking forward to for a while. I feel like the way that and we'll talk about this I think a little bit later on, the way that they build this was very like, you gotta trust me one last time. Like they made it feel very final. It's also in the title and name. I don't know if that's necessarily how this movie played out, but it was like a big deal, right? Obviously, this is like even a huge press tour for them. So Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, I think that it is flawed. I was very worried when I initially saw some of the reviews where they're like, this is fucked up. This is the Rise of Skywalker all over again. I don't think that's the case at all.
I have a take that I actually think it is, but I think it is in a different way. But I'll say that for a second.
Yeah. So I think I'll agree with you on the part of that. But people were like, this is the Rise of Skywalker. No,
right.
It's
the way they meant it for sure. No, I think that's there's a lot of negative reviews on this, which I totally get, and I actually agree with to an extent. But there are some where I'm like, this seems a little much.
Yeah. So for me, when I watched this movie, I think the big takeaway I had was like the first third of this is a little bit like not like schlocky, just a little bit like, okay, let's get the ball rolling. Let's go. But then the second and third act of this movie are fucking awesome. Like about as good as you're gonna get in the Mission Impossible standpoint or Mission Impossible series, as far as stunts, as far as like big set pieces, as far as action, it's about as good as you're gonna get. The biggest cons are again a little bit sloppy in the first act, and
A little
I
bit.
think the biggest problem the biggest problem with this movie, and you guys will probably agree with me, Gabriel and the Entity are just not very compelling as villains. At least in the Mission Impossible world specifically, just not very compelling.
We'll get to it. I do disagree with you. I agree with you that Asai Morales is just not built for this to be that kind of villain. The Entity, though, I was kind of out in Dead Reckoning after rewatching Dead Reckoning multiple times, and now having seen this twice, I'm very much in on the Entity. There's something so like Spielberg about like it just being God and like him fighting against God. There's like this religious subtext to it, which I really love, especially when you pair Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning together.
Then
We'll talk more about that.
you gotta dump one or the other though. I think it's kind of one of the issues here.
Right. I think that's the I do like the Entity, and that was the thing I was worried most about coming into this. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna make this work, and I actually do think they made it work. He's there's stuff with him that I like, and there's stuff with him that I don't dislike. I'm not moved by it, which is not the case for a lot of the other like. There are other villains in this franchise where you feel like you're like, okay, I mean, there's one in particular, and with him, I just like it's not bad. I'm just not like blown away by it because there are some things that he does that are sinister and I like. But you're right, it gets a little tangled with the Entity because I do like the Entity.
You know what it kind of reminds me of?
Maybe probably one or the other.
It kind of reminds me of in a way. Do you remember in don't take this comparison too literally, like in Eternals when they had like those dual bad guys and one of them just kind of meant nothing and the other one meant everything? Like it's just like you could dump one of these things and you still get.
And also like Kittredge is kind of a bad guy too in a sense. Like
Yes.
he kind of is another villain too.
Yes, there's like a lot of different factors working against each other. But in the as far as the overall movie goes, I really enjoyed a lot of this movie. Like edge of my seat, sort of like gripping the seat, like, oh, how's this gonna work? And like shit's gonna work out because it's Mission Impossible. It's just how it works. Good guys win and all that. But like the sequences that like you've seen in trailers where he's on the plane and other ones with the submarine, like you feel the tension very as much as you're gonna feel it in the Halo jump, as much as you're gonna feel it in like the train or any of the other Mission Impossible big set piece stunt things. I thought I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to based off of the early reactions to it, which are like oh man, they lost it, blah blah blah. Like I don't think that's true. I think this and Dead Reckoning kind of have like inverse flaws. Like I think I like them about the same amount for different reasons. But I really enjoyed it. It's nothing's gonna hold a candle to Fallout. I think anything the Mission Impossible can do at this point, but it's in that same sort of like mid-level tier for me in the Mission Impossible universe. But how did you feel about it, Jeff?
Yeah, this lands for me. I actually like this more than Dead Reckoning. I think Dead Reckoning is probably a smoother experience from start to finish. But this at its best, I think, is better than Dead Reckoning. There's also like a weird. I didn't take points off for this because it's just not what they were going for. And for me to be like, I don't. I'm gonna remove points because they didn't do this thing I like. That's very like toxic. Which, by the way, I gotta tread lightly here. The Mission Impossible Reddit is like the most toxic fandom thing I've ever seen in my. It's like worse than Star Wars.
Really? I've never seen it.
Oh my god. You like
hold up.
they are such they are. I mean, what can you guess? Guess why?
Over what?
Ilsa.
They're
They hate Haley Atwell. Hate her. Hate. Like they are such Ilsa stands. So like if you read like the Mission Impossible Reddit before the movie came out, or like people who'd seen it earlier, you were like, this is a 0 out of 100 movie. That's how much they hate it because it's like this toxic. So anyway, my point being, the one thing that I really wish they would have done that I didn't get in here, but I'm not going to be like critical of it because that is the choice they made, and I still think it works. Not a lot of trickery in this movie, and that's a bit of a bummer. Like there's not enough like Mission Impossible like mask pull moments, and not even just masks, just like duping. You get duped, right? You watch these movies to get duped, and there's not a lot of that in this. With that said, it's also become as much of a duping franchise. It's become an action franchise, and the action stuff would be unbelievable. The submarine stuff was crazy. That's some of. I think Kenjac, either you or Gooch said it after you guys saw it. It's like that's like one of the best water set pieces ever in a movie. It's unbelievable. It tipping upside down and the wall. It's crazy.
They didn't.
And like edge of your seat, like you kind of know he's not going to die, but I was like, fuck, man, like he could die. Like it was crazy. And then the plane thing, I think, is great. I've seen some people say they think it overtakes it. I think it was the perfect amount of the plane. I love the plane thing. I like how it ended. I think it's fucking hilarious how it ended. So yeah, I have it right in the middle. I think it's a good notch below Ghost Protocol. I think it's an even bigger notch below Rogue Nation and Fallout. So it's right there in the middle. I gave it an 87 out of 100. I still really liked it. I had a great time, and I think the beginning, had it been tighter and less exposition heavy, I would have liked it. And I'll get to my Star Wars points, and I'll shut up for a second. It felt like the Rise of Skywalker if they had done the Rise of Skywalker correctly. Like if they it's a nostalgia bomb, and that was a big critique after the review, the premiere, right? People were like, too much flashbacks, too much. I actually I kind of like them. Like I think it actually works for me. Could you argue that there was maybe too many? I'm sure, but they all fit into the movie. Like they fits even even the reveal, spoiler, that Briggs is Jim Phelps' son, which I think is a nice moment. Like they don't just say it just to say it. Like he explains it away as like, I don't give a fuck that I'm his kid. Like I don't like you because you don't follow orders, bitch. Like that's like his whole like. That all worked. The Dunlow edition was great.
Yes,
great. And those are things that like Rise of Skywalker did with like, hey, it's Wedge here, it's Wedge Antilles. It's like Lando. It's like bringing Lando back, but like they did it right. So I loved all of that. Everything from the second half on, amazing. First half, it goes from like not great to like okay, solid. But in the end, loved it. The one other detraction, is composer change could be felt a little bit. I think
a lot.
I didn't think it was a terrible score. The problem is that compared to the last few, they're great scores, and that's the biggest issue. It's not a bad score, and some music works well, but the theme's got to creep in a little more, especially in those end fights. But still, I didn't think it was like a huge detractor.
Yeah, and to your Rise of Skywalker point, I think that the big difference between the two of those sort of sequences is like with the Rise of Skywalker, it feels very keys jangling. You know what I mean? Like you're a little baby, not worth any effort. Here's some keys so that you get distracted. Like that's what that feels like to me when watching the Rise of Skywalker. This felt more like it works. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to tell you something and give you a little bit more like heart of the franchise. This is something that's been going back 25 years plus so far. Like that, it felt more earned than just like, oh, look at all the flashing lights we're showing you. Like that to me, it felt like borderline disrespectful watching the Rise of Skywalker at points. But Gooch, what'd you think?
Yeah, no. William Donlow coming back, elite glup shitto is what I've been reading.
Yes,
like, he is a good glup shitto, and it helps that Rolf Saxon coming out of nowhere and just being great, like
really good
performance. Yeah, no, I think so. When we talk about this movie, I think people are probably already very angry. People who didn't like this movie because we're speaking about it so glowingly while also talking about the flaws. Like I do believe that the first 45 minutes has some of the worst stuff in the franchise. I really, it's a mess. You can tell this movie was very much like it's very clear that Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning were one movie at one point and got split up, and then production issues between COVID and the fucking strikes all happening really bloated this thing. But then once it turns that corner, it really turns the corner, and there is some like peak of the franchise stuff in here. Like you said, the submarine stuff. As a fan of The Abyss, Crimson Tide, this pulls heavily from that and like does so brilliantly. Like Tom Cruise talked about how they had to invent new technology to film those sequences. You can tell it's him down there in that water. Some of the stuff doesn't make sense when he's down there, like coming up, like how deep is he? But it looks great. I love that they cut the sound, like it plays like a silent film, which McHugh told us like wasn't intentional, just ended up coming out that way. And then the plane sequence, like, I'm sorry, like, you might be tired of the stunts. I'm not tired of the stunts. This is like one of the best stunts, maybe the best stunt they've ever done. I don't know how he did not get seriously hurt or die during like, while filming that. So like, while I hate some of the stuff in the first four, I hated those little flashback sequences. Kind of hated the way it was all edited together, and like ditching the espionage stuff really bothered me. I think there's probably too many characters by like probably 5 too many characters in this movie.
Probably too many characters. That's probably spot on.
But like other stuff is so good. Like it's just so fucking good that I cannot bring myself to dislike this movie. I'm at an 80 out of 100. It's probably my number 5 in the franchise. I'd have it tied with 3, which is interesting because I think it's like the antithesis to 3, where 3 is kind of safe and like doesn't really do anything too great outside of Philip Seymour Hoffman's performance. This is kind of all over the map. Like, very volatile movie. But the stuff that I love, I really, really love. Like, I can envision myself like 3 years from now just flipping it on and just skipping straight to a sequence, skipping straight to the submarines sequence, watching it like 3 times over.
Yeah.
I think it's going to age well because I think Dead Reckoning's aged well for people. I think people talk more glowingly about Dead Reckoning now than they did 2 years ago, and I think this one will because the good in this stands out so much that the stuff that doesn't work. I think you don't excuse it. Like it's still a problem and it's still a flaw, but like you can look past it. The beginning is like whiplash. It is a lot. I don't mean like the movie whip. I mean like it throws you the fuck around. It's quick. It moves very fast. They're trying to get everything out there exposition wise. The only like real callback that actually Robbie Fox said it, and I don't agree to the extent that he said, but I do think the rabbit's foot thing. I like that they did that because I'm like, oh okay, that actually like I did a whole rewatch, and at the end of I actually didn't know this. I'm not just trying to sound like I'm some like great sleuth, but at the end of Mission Impossible 3 rewatch the other day, when I forgot that he didn't know what was in it, I go, oh, that's absolutely gonna be the fucking entity. That's gonna be connected to the entity, absolutely. So I was like, I feel like that's got to be it. Never would have predicted by the way that he was Jim Phelps' kid. I feel like you should have seen that coming, but I was like, okay, but that like the rabbit's foot thing was probably a little like shoved in there too quickly for me. I think that like could have been played out more, but I think what you said, Gooch, like it definitely you can tell where they ran into issues that were almost out of their control, right? With the writer's strike, with things that they had to kind of COVID. I mean, COVID was an issue for the first movie. Like things were a problem, and I also think very strongly. I like that they used Grace's like pickpocketing for a reason at the end too. That felt like, okay, justified. I would assume very strongly when they started making these movies, there was an assumption Rebecca Ferguson would be in both or would be in through the end of this movie. Yeah. There's reasons why. The COVID delays were a huge reason. Writer strike stuff, huge reason. Dune 2 is happening. So it's part of that. She also like didn't want to come back just in a side role because she was not going to be quite as front and center as she was in Rogue Nation and Fallout. Her absence was felt, I think, and I think there's parts where you're like, that's probably where Ilsa would have been. Not to be too Reddit toxic-y there, but I'm like, that's probably where Ilsa Faust should have been.
She and Haley Atwell, like I feel like is very cool in a way that like some of the old Mission Impossible girls were too. But it's just it definitely isn't nearly as interesting as Ilsa Faust was. Just her whole backstory, which we had been given throughout the entirety of the last like 3 movies now, was definitely a lot cooler. Some of the other things I think I would point out is that again, Rolf Saxon, where the fuck has this dude been? Because he just comes in here and crushes it. His wife, I thought, was a very funny addition too. Like she was very funny. Like I think you had mentioned it before, Gooch. Like how the McHugh's very good at being funny without punchlines. Like that is very. She I think is a great example of that. Like she would just do like a little expression, a little like I don't understand English thing. Like just funny. Like yeah, a little like waving. Yeah.
Also, speaking of too many characters, you said that. I do think Hannah Waddington, is that how you say her name? Is that her name?
Get rid of that. Yeah.
Not necessary. Trammell Tillman though was fantastic.
Hey, the gay submarine was awesome.
He was unbelievable.
Thing.
He was that was like well obviously there are a lot of Severance fans in the theater when I saw it, but I mean he was just Mr. Milkchick in his first moment. He's like, and you must be out of your so whatever he said, like that was Milkchick.
Listen here, Mister. You think I want to go poke the bear, Mister? Mister, I'm gonna blow this thing. I love him. I loved him in that. That was funny. I think the Shea Wiggum thing at first was I was like, oh, Jesus. But I agree with you in that, like, the second he was like, I don't give a shit. Like, he's like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, I work for this I work for this agency, and you constantly disobey everything we ever do. So that is why this is happening.
I don't have an issue with him being tied into Jim Phelps, but I do think his character transition from Dead Reckoning to Final Reckoning is a little strange because in Dead Reckoning, it feels like he's an adversary to Ethan Hunt while also being very like he admires Ethan like very deeply, like kind of as a just force of nature.
He has an Alec Baldwin line on him, right? Like not living manifestation of destiny. He said like something cool though.
A shape shifting, something,
Agent of
something like
chaos.
agent of chaos. Yes. And like his interactions with, when they're talking between him and Tarzan Davis's character in Dead Reckoning, there's like a level of admiration there that I think gets thrown out the window completely in the Final Reckoning, where it's like, oh no, like Shea Wiggum's character, like he really does hate Ethan, which I thought was a little strange. I will say though, at the very end, we're gonna get an all-time meme reaction clip at the very end with
the gun. This is so stupid. It's so stupid. Pointing the gun.
like the movie holds off for so like up until that point. There's like 45 minutes where there's not a single like thing to laugh at.
Yeah,
that's like the one that breaks the tension.
Yeah, dude, so dumb. I think he was good though. I think you get rid of Holt McCallany and Nick Offerman's characters. Like they're two. That should be like background actors. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't require names to be those characters. And I think I'm not sure if it was you or Robbie that mentioned this, or Robbie Fox that is. It felt like they tried to put a lot of weight into Nick Offerman's death as a character, and we were just kind of like, I don't know who this is. Like, I don't care that he's dead.
Yeah. Probably not needed. Because I liked all the stuff with Angela Bassett. I mean, she's been a character in a couple movies now. Well, two really, I guess, in a sense. But she was in the background of the last one. So like, I do like that. But yeah, that probably could have used less. But again, it's like a lot of the things that like you can critique, like they don't get in the way either. Like I'm okay, like they're fine. Like it's like okay. Like I don't think we needed it. Like and that's where you can feel it's a little long in the tooth. But it's like I don't know. You can excuse away some of it because so much of it is great too.
Yeah.
It's like the good is all the good stuff is excellent. That's where it kind of saves itself from moments that you may say, this isn't quite as good.
Also, by the way, Pom Klementieff, I think, is setting herself up to be the next big female action star. Like any role that might have potentially gone to Charlize Theron that she's aging out of is now going to go to Pom Klementieff because she's awesome, physical, violent, cool. All the things you want out of a female heroine. So she was sick. I just want to give
Luther stuff was sad. Ving Rhames, though. I mean, I know Ving Rhames is also like actually sick, right? Like he actually has health issues.
Yeah,
that's sad.
And I believe that's like a lot of why he's not like. That's why in the last couple movies, a lot of what you see him doing is just a lot of like sitting around. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure exactly what it is. But I do know, I think there's something with his health. And I just think that you probably have to sacrifice one of those characters. That his did make sense because it is the longest since. I did think Benji died for a minute though, which was a real fucking bummer. I was like, I can't with both of them. That's too much. You both can't die.
Yeah. That's one question I think I had coming out of this, and I'm wondering how you guys feel. I feel like there should have been some more mourning for Luther, especially out of like Benji, because like Ethan, like you get the moment where they're talking before the explosion and all that, but I feel like Benji, we needed some time seeing Benji get to mourn Luther, and I feel like that just kind of glossed over really quick.
Or even Ilsa, man. This is
like Ilsa too, yeah.
1 month, 2 months.
Again, the Ilsa thing is weird. They don't. Benji at least had a moment on the plane when they talked about Luther, where you're like, okay, like I guess the world's ending. They like kind of have to move on. He kind of had like a moment of pause and like he kind of choked up saying Luther's name, and they said for Luther a couple, and then he obviously had the really nice like speech at the end. Mm-hmm. But the Ilsa thing continues to be the one thing that just kind of is weird to me. But like I don't know. Like I don't know what something definitely changed with her not being able to come back or her choosing to not come back. Mm-hmm. That shifted and moved things around. You're right though. It is like the lack of her presence is felt.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, Haley Atwell is very good in this, but also like Rebecca Ferguson was such a like knockout fit. Like what her strengths are and just like kind of her old Hollywood look, like it fits so perfectly with what Tom and McHugh are doing in the franchise. Like so perfectly. So her getting removed, just not mentioning her name, I think is like what is going on behind the scenes there. Like they couldn't even say her name.
The other questions I had were: do you guys think this should have been the end of Ethan Hunt? Like, should this have been an actual final reckoning, so to speak?
I go back and forth on it. I don't. I mean, obviously you got to keep it up. You got to keep it up if you potentially make another one, which I mean, they leave the fucking door open. No, I this isn't. No, I don't know. I just like I feel like what you expect from this character, he's got to live. Like that is like I mean, again, that is one of those weird things too. Is where you always hear that with these movies where it's like, wow, that's a crazy stunt, or how did he survive that, or how did that, how did he climb up the wall and pull out the detonator? And it's like, well, I mean, it's called Mission Impossible. Like that is the whole like, and they are the movies. The last two movies did a really good job of being very meta about how absurd everything is. Like they recognize the absurdity in it, which is why I do like those. Like I like. Now, do they need to be as present as they are? Like you just said, like Nick Offer, maybe not. But those characters serving the purpose of kind of like self-deprecating, being like this is all so fucking ridiculous. It adds like it kind of makes it all even cooler because you're like, oh, like everyone in this universe like recognizes how absurd Ethan Hunt is. It's like we don't need to pretend that this is like some superhuman. Like they're saying this is ridiculous. It's absurd that he's doing all these things. So him surviving kind of fits in that mold for me. Like I'm glad he did.
Yeah, before the movie, I think I would have been on board with him dying, but now seeing it in action, like I'm very interested in seeing where they go with this franchise. Tom is like in a huge battle with Paramount right now, like behind the scenes. They want to TVify a lot of his like properties that he kind of has his fingerprints on, and obviously he would rather die.
Mm-hmm.
But like seeing him, if they could continue this franchise, if you told me that they're going to make another Mission Impossible 5-10 years from now, and Ethan's going to be like the Jim Phelps kind of role, like the captain of the team behind the scenes, and they have a new young stud. Who knows who it will be? Glenn Powell come in and like lead the team from there and be the new hot young Ethan Hunt. Hell yeah, hell yeah! Like why not?
Yeah.
Like if they're gonna continue to put this, and if Tom Cruise owns this franchise, this is like his thing. So you'd imagine same level of quality. Then yes, like absolutely.
All right. And lastly was do you guys think that AI will ever be a compelling villain again? How many more AI villains could we possibly have? Because now I feel like because just AI is heavily in the word cloud, like everyone's bitching about it, AI art, AI generative stuff. Like I feel like people are going to try to now do more of it, and I feel like this may have been the last time that it could have been done right. And I don't know how much more we can do, especially because even watching this movie, I was like, it's a Skynet. It's AI becomes self-aware, wants to nuke all of the world. Like, okay, like we've done that before. So how much more do you think we ever get a compelling AI villain again?
That nuke scene was very James Cameron, and I loved it. The when the entity feeds him like a vision of the world going up in flames, very awesome. I think like I said, I really like the entity in this movie. Like I said, it's like there's like this idea of Ethan literally fighting God, like the entity, and Gabriel, one of his servants, like he's got the cruciform key. Like it's so Lucas, it's so Spielberg that I was kind of on board with it. Now, can anybody else replicate that? I think so, but it's just not easy. It's really like hard to make it work. We've seen that time and time again. Just AI.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, that's Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. We'll be looking forward to the next one, I'm sure, whenever that does come. I'm assuming Tommy's got like 18 movies in the bank right now.
He gets $100 million on each one of these movies. Like these are massive paydays for him.
Yeah. And he's got a couple things in the tank right now. He's now saying he wants to make a movie with Michael B. Jordan. He's got the Doug Liman thing coming out at some point. He's got what's the other thing? He's got one other thing, right? What am I missing?
He's
Not Lyman.
He just got done shooting the Inarritu thing, I think, or is like mid shoot, and paused for this thing.
Yeah.
This tour.
He's got the movie where he goes to space, which I think is the Lyman thing, but I don't know when that comes out.
That's the Lyman thing. He's got like 3 things with McHugh lined up, but I think the most solid one right now is like it's set.
It's a Tomorrow too, man.
World War II. No, this one is like a World War II French thing.
No, that's interesting.
Yes.
Okay, but now we get to do our Mission Impossible draft to finish things up. I randomized the order ahead of time. It is going to be Jeff, then Gooch, then myself. The categories we're selecting from, we're doing 2 stunts each, one of the movies, a side character, and a villain. So you get to pick, we're going to have 5 total picks. Again, 2 stunts, 1 movie, 1 side character, and 1 villain. Jeff, you are up first.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll take Fallout.
Yeah.
I mean, It's the best thing here. It's the best thing. I mean, Fallout. I stand by. Fallout should have been nominated for Best Picture that year. I actually think if it had come out now or maybe next year, I think it actually probably would have had a chance. Look at Top Gun Maverick. I mean, I don't know. There's just no reason Fallout. I mean, Fallout was one of the best movies made that year. So Mission Impossible Fallout's my first pick. It's the best out of the franchise. I wouldn't say by far because Rogue Nation is pretty fucking close to it. Rogue Nation is
Closer than
really,
people care to admit, I think.
yeah. It's Fallout is elite, but like I don't know. Like I think Rogue Nation, you could probably pretty much make that argument. That is like that's as good of a 1-2 story arc, action story arc in any movies ever, and that includes the fucking Terminator movies. Like it is that good. Maybe a notch below Terminator, but still it's up there. So yeah, I'll take Fallout.
Yeah, Jeff. And for my second pick, I will make that argument. Like I'm at a fifth. I'm at the point now where they're tied for me. Rogue Nation and Fallout. There's like a sleekness and a sexiness to Rogue Nation, and again, Rebecca Ferguson plays such a large role in that. Like her Ilsa Faust character is so good. Like the introduction, the opera scene. Alec Baldwin is like legitimately like probably the best he's been the past 20 years in that movie. So much great stuff. Sean Harris, the obviously very different character than he is in Fallout. And I actually prefer Sean Harris's performance in Rogue Nation as like the under control, very clean, very precise villain. The box scene, like there's just a lot of little things. The like even just like the simple stuff, like he hit the record store at the beginning. A lot of great stuff that I just really love. And any given day, if you ask me, some days it'll be Fallout, some days it'll be Rogue Nation, but those are my top two right now.
So you got Fallout and Rogue Nation off the board. I get to pick two now. I'll pick two stunts straight up. I'll do the holding the breath sequence from Rogue Nation. I think is as good as it gets, as thrilling of a movie sequence as you're ever gonna see. The whole like little training sequence where you're seeing like we gotta do all these things to get your oxygen level up, blah blah blah. And when he jumps in and when you see him start to like he's almost got the thing in, and then the arm comes and knocks him away, and he's like starts to choke and starts to go away, and you're like, he can't open it, he's running out of oxygen. And then Ilsa comes in and saves the day. It's fucking thrilling. And it's as good as an underwater sequence as you're gonna see in anything stunt wise in Mission Impossible. And then I'll back to back that with like climbing the Burj Khalifa, man. That shit was fucking that rocked. And I don't think Ghost Protocol gets a lot of love. I think versus like some of the other movies, which fair, like Fallout and Rogue Nation are way better. But the Burj Khalifa sequence is fucking unbelievable. I don't know how.
Two things saved his career: the
Yeah.
Burj Khalifa and Les Grossman.
Yeah,
I mean that saved his career. Well, both those things.
I don't know how the fuck Brad Bird pulled it off, man. That sequence I think is as cool as anything you're gonna see in Mission Impossible. It's fucking. That's one. Every time I watch it, my hands just start sweating like fucking crazy. It looks good. It's just fucking. It's a beautiful scene, and the stunt work is incredible. So I'm gonna go with that. Gooch, you're back up.
The behind the scenes on that Burj Khalifa, like is so funny too. Like Tom really was just out. I mean, he still is, but very out of his mind. At that,
Insane, an insane person.
He's like swinging across the like they're like don't do that, and he just keeps doing it. And then obviously the infamous photo of him sitting on top of the Burj Khalifa with minimal wiring, no shoes on, and then Will Smith tried to recreate it, and it looks so goofy.
Yep.
It looks very uncomfortable up there, while Tom is just so nonchalant. Okay, so a villain, or I can do anything now.
You have stunts, side character, and villain.
Ooh. I should have been thinking about this. I'm gonna go with side character. I will take Ilsa Faust. Rogue Nation Ilsa Faust. Like I said, I think she's just so talented, and just the perfect fit for this franchise. The commentaries are very funny because you could tell Tom just. I mean, he's been on record saying his like first celebrity crush is Ingrid Bergman, and then you just have Rebecca Ferguson, who looks a Swedish actress who looks very much like Ingrid Bergman.
Yep.
But she has so many strengths. Crazy that Rogue Nation was like her first time ever really doing real physical combat work, and she just knocks it out. She works perfectly as like a romantic love interest as well. Just a great fit for the franchise.
Yeah, I saw a tweet the other day of her putting her leg up in the opera scene, and someone says it's like this is the moment this is when I saw this, I realized why some people are leg people, or why some people are leg guys. Yeah, like that's yeah.
The yellow dress, man.
She's
She's just badass. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I'll go villain for my next pick. I guess I have back to back. I really thought about taking Sean Ambrose for Mission Impossible 2.
God, that's Scottish.
No, I'll go Solomon Lane. I mean, he's yeah, I just think Sean Harris, I mean, it's the best villain in the franchise. I like that he becomes a fucking mad crazy person the second one after being thrown in jail. But you see signs of that at the end of Rogue Nation. He's just like he is a psychopath. But he is menacing. I would actually, I mean, I'd probably argue Philip Seymour Hoffman is maybe more menacing as Owen Davian. Like he is terrifying, but there is something about that Sean Harris, even the way he like grabs Ilsa's face in the cemetery when he realizes he doesn't have the black bot when it's like not on the drive. So yeah, I'll go Sean Harris's Solomon Lane. I think he's great. And then I guess I'll go for my I'll take one of the stunts. I'll probably say probably hanging off the airplane in Rogue Nation. It is a tone setter for that movie. It's short. It's like the shortest, quickest one of them all, for reasons of like, I think they were worried that he was going to get. I think that was one that they worried he was most going to die from
because of
because I think they
birds.
Right? Yeah,
a bird might hit him.
Yeah, like they were like a pebble or a bird hits him, he's dead. Like that's it. So like. And I guess like I think they've long said too, if he wasn't a producer, it would have never happened. That's the only reason it really happened. So yeah, I'm gonna go with hanging off the plane in Rogue Nation. It's also it's a funny scene too. Him flying into the wrong door, him like hanging on, him parachuting out. It's all like few things are as important as the scene that leads into the theme too, which is that stunt. So yeah, I'll go with the hanging off the plane in Rogue Nation.
That's a great pick. I know, and like you're saying, it is short, but it is really cool. And I think that's one that kind of reinvigorated people's interest in the stunt work too for Mission Impossible, because like they kept showing the behind the scenes, like yeah, look, like Simon Pegg being like he's hanging off a fucking plane, like it's really happening right in front of our eyes. It's crazy. And like the clips of him with the wire on still, like actually lifting off in the plane from like a regular camera, not a cinematic one. It's cool. It's cool as shit. Gooch, you're back up.
And the attention to detail to put him in like the exact same suit that what's his face was wearing in North by Northwest.
Yeah, I forgot the actor's name.
That's gonna bother me. Cary Grant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go villain. Jeff just brought him up. Philip Seymour Hoffman is Owen Davian. Well, I'd agree with Jeff. Sean Harris's Solomon Lane is the better villain, but in terms of performances, like Philip Seymour Hoffman is just fucking incredible in 3. Like just the tour de force. Like the movie really doesn't work if you don't have that performance in there. He's so terrifying. And then the mask work in that bathroom where he is both playing himself, Owen Davian, and doing the Ethan Hunt. It's like the best version of someone having to perform as Ethan Hunt in the mask. Nails like that Tom Cruise-ness. Dual performance right there. I love that performance.
Mm-hmm. So Owen's off the board. Now I have back to back. I think this is where it gets a little bit tougher. Like I like John Voight quite a bit as Phelps as a villain, because I think he's cool, and like that original twist is really good. Like you expect him to be fucking dead, and like when he shows up, it's really cool. And I think Voight is naturally pretty good at that sort of role. But tell you what, something really fucking cool about August Walker. I think I'm gonna pick August Walker.
Yeah, he's obviously counts. He's awesome. He's an awesome character.
He's fucking cool. He's like a tank. That's not like usually what Ethan is fighting. He's usually fighting like a slicker, smarter sort of villain, whether it's what's his name, Sean Ambrose or whatever bullshit guys. Like they're sleek and cool. August Walker's just a tank. He's a straight up beast. And then when he flips and like he does the whole like the helicopter chase scene, when he gets up out of the helicopter and his face is fucking melted off, when he reveals that he's like an agent of Solomon, or what they call them, acolytes of Lane, and they have the little flip gun scene with Alec Baldwin, which is very cool, by the way. That's an underratedly awesome sequence when he's like, that one's not loaded. I think this one is, though. Yeah, great shit. I really like August Walker. He doesn't have like a lot of lines. He's not like, obviously not in the same stratosphere as Solomon Lane or Owen Davian. But I think he's better than a Sean Ambrose. I think he's better than the nameless dude from fucking Ghost Protocol. And I really like him. I like him a lot. I think he's a good villain. So
Yeah, it's the best Henry Cavill's ever been by like a wide margin.
and him beating the shit out of those dudes in the bathroom is it's all time.
That look he gives Ethan when Ethan like finally catches up to him in London and like grabs onto the bottom of the elevator.
Yeah.
And it's like looks down at him. He's like, why the fuck? Like, won't you just give up? Like,
Yeah.
so good.
So August Walker off the board, and then I think I'll do it's for my side character. Do I want Benji or do I want Luther? Is the question. Like Luther, obviously way strong. Like he's been in on all of them. Phineas Freak, cool ass nickname. He's smooth. He's cool. He's a fucking hacker. Benji, a lot funnier. Like he adds like he's added his addition was amazing too. I think only second to maybe like Elsa Faust as far as like adding in new characters and them just clicking immediately. Like I think Benji as a character made the franchise very different. It added that levity, made it funnier, made it more interesting, and I like him a lot. And I think his friendship with Tom Cruise, or friendship with Ethan Hunt, is great too. It worked great in Rogue Nation too, by the way. Like the whole Vienna Opera sequence where he's like he has to do all these like polygraphs every day, all that shit. But I mean, it's Luther. It's got to be. I don't have a choice. It's Luther. Luther is cooler. He's been there the whole way. Phineas Freak. His death, it got me too. Like when him saying like, "Oh, you think you got old Phineas Freak?" Like it's good shit. And I like Ving Rhames in that performance has always been really solid. So I'll go with Luther. Gooch, you're back up.
Have you rewatched 3 recently at all?
Yes.
I do think it's funny in 3 when he's like trying to give Ethan like relationship advice. He's like,
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I've been there a lot of times. You know, we got to walk away.
Yeah.
He basically asked me, he's like your sister, you're asleep with your sister when he's talking. It's a crazy line.
Have you ever slept with your sister?
Yeah. So Luther on the board, Gooch, you're back up.
I'm gonna go. I will take for my first thought. I'm gonna take the airplane sequence from the Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
Is that on the board?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take like I said, everything I said before. Like it's just there's so much that happens in it with the jumping from plane to plane. Also, something Owen pointed out to me after the movie, like they must have done it about 10 times because there's a lot of different footage and a lot of different angles that they're getting there. That's crazy. It's just insane that they were able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like right next to the propeller at points. Like one wrong move. He also apparently, because of the way they were moving up and down, he would pass out at points for like 10 seconds at a time. He's the only person up there. So they just have no idea if he's alive, what's going on. Crazy stunt. I mean, really push the limits on like what is possible on a big screen and exactly what these movies are kind of built for.
I think it's a great pick. Yeah, and also like him talking about like he's like I couldn't breathe because you're going so fast that the air is getting shoved down your lungs and you can't expel air. Like it's fucking crazy. Jeff, your last 2 picks.
I thought about. I mean, so I thought about taking the Halo jump, but I don't want 2 plane things. Halo jump is unbelievable though, and part of it though is the one thing that I knock on that is that I don't believe that was Henry Cavill. So it's like half. Which, by the way, you could tell who was actually doing the plane stunt in Final Reckoning and who was not.
Yeah.
There's a very clear moment which they're like, you can tell one person was out there, one was not. I'm actually gonna take one from Fallout. The bathroom scene doesn't count. That's just a fight. But I'm gonna take the bike chase around Paris.
Yeah.
Where he's got the motorcycle around the Arc de Triomphe. That's unbelievable. That's like that actually. If I were to show the turn of like when they started filming action the right way, it's like that scene. Like that scene alone is like that's how you film an action scene. Like that's how you film a chase. It's not up close. It's not, it's so expansive and shot in a wide way where you're like, holy fucking shit. He is driving that bike through Paris. Obviously not to the extent of what they show in the movie, but like he still fucking did it. And he drove around that. And that stunt also is coupled with the fact that it has an amazing ending with the theme music when he falls through like the netting and is on the boat. And that's how your duped moment. Like that's how he got away from the cops. So that whole scene is one of the more underrated scenes in any of the movies. Like that scene kind of gets lost in Fallout, but like that bike chase and that bike chase also does come after what I think is the most tense and best use of the score in any Mission Impossible movie is the theme when they're getting ready to capture Lane, and he's in the plane. It's like 20 minutes of a continuous song. I think it's the theme that is like that's my favorite moment in any of the movies. Actually, is that build up to when they go capture Lane. He's being broken out. It's unbelievable. See, I'll take that bike chase, and then the last pick I'll take Benji for all the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Became great evolution of that character too. I mean, to go from just like the guy at the desk, funny in Mission Impossible 3, but to what he was the rest of the way through. And they always did a great job with his comedic timing. In a world where these like serious movies have these comedic points, and we talked about it over the years with like Marvel, Marvel, probably the number one of like I call it the James Gunnification of Marvel movies, where it's like you gotta have a quip. Shout out Thunderbolts though. I'm sure you guys Thunderbolts have found a way to actually do it right for once.
Yeah.
But like Benji, all of his lines hit. They're always funny and they're always timed well. They don't undercut too much. Yeah, great character.
Yeah. I like that you pointed out that Fallout sequence because that like it's like a dream sequence where he's doing the bad stuff, and then like he wakes up and they're like he has to do like what he actually has to do. Very very.
It's just it's so the theme crescendos and hits so many times. Oh, it's so good. I can watch the scene over and over again.
Gooch, your last pick.
We haven't really picked anything from the first movie. So final stunt, I'll take the wire hang. Just iconic. Not his toughest stunt, but going back and rewatching it, like at that point, it's great. It's like seeing like a present day NBA star like watching like their college highlights. I mean, like, oh yeah, no, this was all there. This is like when he very first started really getting into the stunt work, and that's so like it's just so iconic, the imagery, and bring it back to the final reckoning. The way they shot that, where you have to be quiet, everything has to be so silent, every little noise, every little drop of moisture, like even the De Palma shooting moisture coming off the lenses, like that doesn't make sense, but it's so cool. Like the 2001 Space Odyssey aesthetic of it all, also just great. It's one of the most iconic images in the franchise, if not the most iconic, for a reason.
And like the rat showing up, like you see Jean Reno with like the close up of like his glove and like the rope sliding out of it. Like it's awesome. There's no two ways about it. Okay, so the wire hang off the board now. I have my last pick, which is my movie. So here's the thing. So you guys picked the best two, right? Fallout and Rogue Nation. I don't know if I want to pick go one of the Reckonings, or do I want three? I think I can skip on 1 and 2. I don't Ghost Protocol. I can skip on as well. It's weird. I agree with you guys in that. Like in rewatching Dead Reckoning, I like it a lot more. There are a lot of really cool sequences in it. Mission Impossible 3 has arguably the best villain. But I think as far as like if pure action sequences go, I'll go Dead Reckoning. I mean, Dead Reckoning I think it has some incredible stunts. The motorcycle jump, which we didn't nominate, it's incredible. I think undermined by the fact that like
a little overexposed before the movie even came out.
Yes, I think a little undermined by that fact. But I mean, even the sequences on the whole train fight is insane. Like where it falls over and he has to like climb his way out of the train hanging off the bridge. That's crazy. And like this fight on top of the train is awesome. Like, so I think I'm gonna go with Dead Reckoning. Even the opening is fucking awesome. Like,
yeah,
in the submarine, all the sweat, all the Russians not understanding what's going on. Like, I think that was all great. So I'll go with that. I'm happy with Dead Reckoning.
Oh yeah, that has gone like way up my rankings as time has passed. The airport sequence all the way to the end of the Rome sequence is so good.
Dude, the car chase in Rome is sick.
Remember when Fast X had come out like a month before that and had done the same thing, and then Dead Reckoning came out and just did it like a million times better.
Yeah, dude, Palm Clementiev like laughing maniacally as he drives that tank thing through the fucking like bridges and shit, and like he's in like that little like scooter thing, like.
Oh yes, and the car like flips down the steps, and then somehow they're just like in different seats again, and has to drive, and she just cannot.
Yeah, I mean it rips. Okay, so our final little lineups here. Jeff has Fallout, Solomon Lane, the hanging off the airplane stunt from Rogue Nation, the Paris bike chase from Fallout, and Benji. Gooch has Rogue Nation, Ilsa Faust, Owen Davian, the airplane fight from the Final Reckoning, the wire hang from Mission Impossible, I have the Holding the Breath sequence from Rogue Nation, the Climbing the Burj Khalifa sequence from Ghost Protocol, August Walker Luther, and Dead Reckoning. I mean, this is just the coolest fucking franchise there is.
Yeah.
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah, well, I like that we were on the right side of history from the beginning here. We've been caping this franchise for years, so glad to still be here. It's the
Yes.
best. It's just awesome. It's a great time. It was, yeah. I'm excited to see it again. I'm supposed to see it again this weekend. So pumped
Yeah.
to see it.
Same, especially the submarine sequence. Like the because we saw it initially, me and Robbie Fox in the screening room, and I feel like that in IMAX is going to be crazy, like so much better.
Yeah, I got to see it at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood, and I saw it. It's not as good as Lincoln Square in New York, which I miss dearly. But we used Robbie Fox used to call it our season tickets at the IMAX in New York. We'd sit in the same seats at the top right, back right. I just loved sitting there. But this one yesterday, I actually went to Chinese Theater for Dune 2, and I walked out and I said, got to sit closer next time. And I think I went like 10 rows back. And so you had to turn a pretty good amount, but it was so immersive with those stunts. It was unbelievable. I didn't about 10 to 30 seconds in though, when they were doing all those flashbacks and it was going like this. There was one where I was like, oh, that's a fucking mistake. I was like, I don't get dizzy in movies. I was like, this could be a problem. But then once it got going, it ended up being good. But yeah, it was fucking unbelievable. See it on the biggest thing you can see it on, because the plane scene is crazy in IMAX.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rewatch. I think the one movie I've rewatched more than anything is Fallout. Fallout, I think I watched in theaters when it came out. I think like 8 times. I saw it with different.
I saw it 5 times in theaters.
I saw it with different groups of friends. I saw it with like girlfriend. I saw it with other I need to keep seeing this over and over again. And like any movie or any franchise that can compel you to do that is, I think,
it was an unexpected cheer. We went. It was you, me. I forget who was one with us. Donnie, the wonton Don went with us. And we saw it in IMAX. And I remember not expecting there to be like Avengers. I mean, there was cheers. It was like it was the opening when the Wolf Blitzer mask comes off. It was like the whole movie was cheers. It was crazy, and like you expected that, but when I saw Rogue Nation, that didn't happen. Like there was just something about that movie and I went 2 days later. Me and Robbie Fox went, and same theater, and it was the same thing. It was just like it was craziness. It was awesome. Steph again, like see it again this weekend. I'm gonna pass up on seeing Hurry Up Tomorrow 2 times, and I'm gonna see this a second time instead.
Shut the fuck up! Shut up! I just see that fucking clip one more time.
It's worth seeing. It's worth seeing. Somebody replied to me, I think yesterday. I finally put my review up on. I'm like behind. I'm posting my reviews on Letterboxd. Someone said, "Is it so bad it's funny or just straight up bad?" It's definitely worth seeing. It is. It is. I laughed the whole time. It's bad. It's a bad movie. Oh my god, that clip is so funny. I can't stop thinking about him saying that. Shut the fuck up.
With his giant fucking veneers, dude. It kills me every time I see it.
Save Jenna Ortega. Holy shit.
She needs a new agent, man. Or like, not even agent, someone to say like, you are doing this movie, you are not doing this movie. Like, not even give her a choice now. Poor fucking girl. But anyway, that's the episode. We'll see you guys next week.